Cheers. Check out that view. Let a few people hop on. Because if nobody hops on, I ain't doing it. This would be a free guide for you guys that one want to invest in short-term vacation rentals, and two want to figure out a way to not pay taxes legally, morally, and ethically. Patty, share it to my I forgot to tell you, go back on your no, is it on? Go back on your personal page and share it to all of my groups.
Okay. Yeah, I know that already.
But am I live on my Chris Rood Entrepreneur page? Mm-hmm. It went live?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's let a few people hop on before we get going. But Patty and I have been invested in short-term vacation rentals now for 12, 13 years. So I wouldn't say I'm an absolute expert or just, phenomenal operator, but we know a thing or two about short-term vacation rentals just from, pure experience and doing it for a long time, right? Don't forget about Chris Rood, Allies Entrepreneur.
Yeah, I know that.
The new group I created.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, all right. Well, let's get started. So, obviously, we got Mama Rood right here for you. She got the beach hair going.
I got a lot of curls, so excuse
That's
my
her natural
my crazy natural hair.
Natural look. But anyway, we got a helicopter passing. Yeah. Ain't that cool? Anyway, obviously Trump came out with his big beautiful bill bringing back 100% bonus depreciation for professional real estate investors like myself. I am classified as a professional real estate investor because I spend most of my time in
all of your time. Let's be honest.
24/7, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
All day, every day, right? So
yeah.
I get that unique advantage where I get classified as a professional real estate investor, and I get all the advantages of the tax code that you can, right? And that's why I haven't paid taxes in, for 11, 12 years now, going on 11 years. Because I understand the tax code, and I'm classified as a professional real estate investor. And now he's bringing back, the 100% bonus depreciation for guys like me to even get even more kickback and tax savings. So that's great. But that's not really why I wanted to come on here, because the guys that are professional real estate investors that follow me already know that. What I'm trying to educate you guys on is the W-2, high-earning W-2, employee that makes, I don't know, maybe you make $300,000 to $500,000 a year, and you're looking for some tax savings. There's a way you can do that through the short-term tax. The short-term tax savings loophole, they call it. That's the exact terminology they call it, is the loophole. It sounds like something illegal, but it's not, right? You can literally get a lot of the same advantages that I would get as a professional real estate investor, but you have to have I put in that post, right? The things that you have to have to better get those advantages. You got to better work in it for, I think, 100 hours out of the year, and you got to self-manage, right? And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how you guys that maybe want to get in this asset class, how to find it, what areas to buy in, how do you know if you're buying a good deal, how to get the financing, and how to self-manage. Because if you don't do those 5 things, it's going to really be tough for you to, one, classify yourself as a W-2 employee, as a somebody that's running it yourself, because then it's classified as a business, right? You're running it yourself as a W-2 employee, so they classify it more as a business. So that's the loophole if you're a high earning W-2 guy and you want to invest in some of these. But if you're going to invest in these, if you really want to make money doing it, you need to self-manage. And we're going to talk, Patty's going to talk about that. Patty manages quite a few of them. And we're actually about to take over management of the rest of the ones we own. But, and look, as if I go past something you don't understand, you know, post in the comments section. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me all right. Hopefully y'all can hear me all right. But let's talk about, first off, how to identify a good area, right? What's a good area? Well, first of all, this is a great area, right? We've been coming here, Destin, Florida, since we were kids, right? Since I was probably 6, 7 years old.
For me personally, since 84.
84, so you were probably 4 years old.
Yeah.
I was probably 6 or 7 before I came out here. But this is a great area to invest in. You got to find areas, first and foremost, that are not fully developed, right? I would never invest in like Orlando, Florida for a short-term vacation rental, you know, for Disney World. That place is so overbuilt, so overstabilized, that and so expensive it doesn't make any sense anymore. If you come to the Panhandle, I'm not saying you need to invest in Destin, but I would say somewhere in the Panhandle of Florida where it's not overpriced. And it don't even necessarily have to be the beach. It can be a lake, you know, it could be a river, you know, it could be a freaking water view, right? Anything that's characterized as unique, that's beautiful. Like this is unique, right? This is, you know, beachfront. Now you can't just buy beachfront houses anymore and make it make sense, even if you self-manage it.
No.
I mean,
Insurance is too high.
and the price
Interest
point.
rates, yeah.
The price point's ridiculous. Like, you know, we can still buy this. This is a condo, a little 1-bedroom. The only thing we can make sense of right now is little 1-bedroom condos to cash flow that are beachfront. Anything else, you know, is really tough. But you got to find areas that are growing, that have great migration patterns, meaning people are still going to the place, and it's got some future growth, right? Meaning it's not built out. Not everybody knows about it. Not everybody knew about Destin. Probably, I mean, a lot of people know about Destin now, but it's still a place that not a lot of people from across the whole country. It's not like Miami is what I'm trying to get to. It's not Miami. It's not
not a big city.
It's not San Diego. It's not something that's overbuilt that you can't make sense of anything price-wise. So it still has some potential growth, and it still has some, I would say, some more build-out. You know, from not just in Destin, but the whole Panhandle.
I think there's a lot of units that older people own that have never been renovated that need renovation. So that's what we personally look for to find a unique property. We're looking at the right building, and we're looking for something that needs updating. And we love Crystal Beach, but there's all kind of cool places in Destin. But our favorite is Crystal Beach.
Yeah, Crystal Beach is more of houses.
It's walkable.
Yeah, it's super cute. It's super unique, and that's the key you gotta look for, is unique. And if you're not gonna do, you know, a beach, just find a place that's super unique. Now, once you find a place that's not overbuilt, that's still somewhat affordable. Now, what do I look for numbers-wise, right? Let's give case examples, right? I bought a condo down there, probably
3 blocks.
3 blocks away last year. First floor unit. It's 98% occupied right now, full all year long. It's going to probably do 105,000 for the whole year. We paid $575 for that. We put 50-something thousand roughly. We're into it, I think we actually probably put about 60,000. I think we're roughly in about 635. Now that unit is going to do 100,000. Once we self-manage,
I am self-managed.
Yeah, we are
It
self-managed.
is, yeah, that one.
Yeah, we
That
are.
one is self-managed.
Yeah, we
That
are.
one's self-managed.
Right. So with it, the way it's, you know, fully occupied at 98% occupancy, we'll put I put 30% down on that deal, and I'm gonna show you how to get away with not putting this much money down. But I put 30% down on that deal because I had to, because I'd sold a mobile home park and I 1031 exchanged it into there. But we ended up putting 30% down, and we're self-managing. But you want to be at about basically half of or over the gross potential rentals. So let's case in point. if you know the unit's going to do, and actually it was only projected to do like 75.
Yeah,
Now
that was max.
That was max, but that's just show you when you make it the nicest unit, you self-manage and you do a good job, you can get these things up way higher. The property manager that we were going to use said, "Oh, it's only going to do about 65 to 75." Well, we done blew through all that.
They also are trying to
Conservative.
be safe. Yeah.
Conservative. But
well, I started researching, and I was like, wait, somebody in here in this unit is asking $630 a night. Why can't I? Their unit isn't even as nice as ours. So I was like, screw it, let me try it. And that was it. I went with $630 and I crushed it. And so, like, do some research. Go on Airbnb. See what other units in your building look like, and what their calendar looks like, and what their prices are.
Well, hold that thought, because I wanted to tell them where they need to be price point wise.
Yeah.
So if I think I can do $100,000, or the projected, it would say it was only 75, but I had a feeling we could probably do better than that if we made it really nice based off of what the other numbers, the other units were doing that she had told me. If I pay $575 and I put $50,000 into it, I'm into it for roughly $625, but it gets $100,000 a year. That's roughly 1.5 to 2% on my money. Now, if I'd have been all in $500,000 and it gets $100,000 with all the expenses, that's roughly 2% on my money. You don't want to be no more. This is like gunslinger, right? This is shooting from the hip when I'm analyzing a deal. If I know something's going to do $100,000, I don't want to be no more than roughly 60 to 65% of the gross rents on my expense side. That includes debt, taxes, insurance, maintenance, property management fee. So my all-in expenses with that unit is around $55,000, roughly, depending on what maintenance we have. Actually, no, it was 55 to 65, depending on how much maintenance is what I came up with. But if it does 100, I mean, we're gonna knock out the park, right? We're gonna have now some of that is cleaning fees. You have to back that out. That's not your profit. My profit on that property is going to be about 20 to 25,000 cash in my pocket after all expenses.
And using it. That's with us using it.
Yeah,
like
using
it. Vacation, so
yeah,
that's money we would have spent elsewhere.
And that's how you have to look at it too. You can't look at just these as, you want to underwrite them to cash flow, period. You don't want to just buy something to lose money. You want to underwrite them to cash flow, use them as a lifestyle asset to take you and your family. Then you want to use it as a tax shelter to not pay taxes legally, morally, and ethically. And then you want to use it as a hedge against inflation, right? Because waterfront property like this is, historically speaking, does not go down in value. It never has. I doubt it will. Will it stagnate for a little while? Sure.
We've never lost money on waterfront property.
No, never lost money on waterfront. It's everything we've ever bought is
Yeah.
doubled and tripled in value.
It's just it's keyword is unique.
Right, but the key is, how do you find these deals? You got to get a realtor, a broker. You can't do a bunch of direct-to-seller marketing like you do with single-family homes that I teach, in my program. It's a lot more higher-end client. I don't want to say you can't. You can.
We have one.
We have once in Panama City,
Beach,
which was, it's a little bit more lower-end area than Destin. But the super high-end areas like this, you're not gonna get a smoking hot deal, with a piece of direct mail or marketing. So what you want to do is you want to get hooked up with a broker or a realtor, and you want to have them add you to their list. And you want to just constantly make offers. Now, you don't want to be way in the freaking back. That's how you lose money. Unless you can get a lot and build brand new construction and do all that in-house and save a bunch of money and build the thing for 60, 70 cents on the dollar. That's the only way you're going to make your cash flow if you way in the back, 2 or 3 blocks back. You want to be either on the beach or maybe the first row back, not too far away from a entry point. And you want to make a bunch of offers. And you got to find a unit that needs work. And you just keep making a bunch of offers until somebody bites. Like the second unit we just bought and renovated, they were from Austria and they had owned this for a long time. and it was dated. It was completely outdated. And we made an offer. How much more or less? 100?
100 grand.
We made it. They had it listed for 625. We made an offer at 500. And then they came up to 5. So we made an offer actually, I think, lower than what we got it for. Remember, we offered 500.
Yeah, they came up 5 more grand and we sold.
No,
we were
so
sold.
we offered 520 then.
And then they came back at 525.
Yeah, we offered 520. It was listed. I think it was listed for 620 or 625. And they ended up biting at 525. So you never know unless you make a bunch of lowball offers.
And
So
our realtor knows, like, so our realtor asked the agent, like, why are they selling? What is the story behind this unit? Blah, blah, blah. I have some investors, like, they're the real deal. They have 2 other properties in the area. Like, they can close this. So, but they have to get it for a good deal because they want to redo the whole thing. So we're honest with them, you know?
Yeah.
And so she talked to the agent. The agent was like, look, I think it's still worth the offer. Like, make the offer. So we came in 100 grand under what they were asking, and they came up 5 more thousand, and we were like, okay, done.
yeah, and now the whole unit needs to be redone. That's why we're here now. We waiting. The grant is going in tomorrow. They're doing backsplash Tuesday and Wednesday, and we'll be done. But we redid.
At this point, we put in 55,000.
Yeah, we put in 55 grand. So it's a brand new unit. But the comps on this thing, this thing's probably worth about 700 to 725, and we'll be all in 580, 585. And the comps
with a new unit.
And with a brand new unit, everything on the inside. So you can capture equity on deals on MLS. You just have to look. You got to make a bunch of offers. So now, with that said, now they have products out there that you can get 30-year fixed debt on. I've got a guy. If you're interested in that guy, just inbox me. Short-term vacation loan officer, something of that sort, and I'll give you my guy's number. You can give you 30-year fixed debt. We've got 7.5 locked in, 30-year fixed. I got 30-year fixed on my house across the street at 4.1%. That was when rates are lower, obviously. So there are products for short-term vacation rental. In addition to that, you got to make it the nicest unit, or one of the nicest units to stand out.
Go online and research what the other units look like. What are they getting per night? And
match it or beat
it. And then those are your numbers. Like, I always make it really, really nice. Like, my kitchens are considered a chef's kitchen. I have everything. And so, yeah, you just have to go above and beyond, Yeah.
Just make it nice. Make it really nice. I don't see any comments. Patty, are there comments on your side?
Yeah, there is.
I can't see comments on my side. Swipe left to review
Would
reaction.
you still bought with a less equity capture if it cash flows well? Okay, well, that's the point. This was not doing really good rentals. They had a really shitty management company. And that's what we told them. We're like, look, like, you're not even bringing in good rentals, so we can't, like, we're taking a risk by buying this, and we needed to rent. So that was what we told them, and that was the truth. But they had a really shitty company.
Yeah.
If something is, cash flowing a lot, then yeah, I mean, that creates value.
The thing is, dude, look, Airbnb and short-term vacation rentals cash flow way better than long-term. You don't get all the wear and tear. And look, I still do long-term rentals. I own a bunch of mobile home parks, but I have a well-diversified portfolio. I don't want to be stuck in just one asset class, right?
We've never really had anybody truly damage our place.
No. And we've been doing this for 13 years.
People who can spend this kind of money are not going to trash your place. We don't let anybody under 25. So we follow strict rules when it comes to that. So it's not like a bunch of teenagers coming here and partying.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Now, Claudia asks, how to self-manage remotely?
Yes.
Talk about that, Patty.
Okay, I just find a really good cleaning person that I could trust that is not going to drop the ball and has backup help. And I also have people that, like, service techs that I have, like, that I can call. And I'm just really nice. When they have a problem, I'm like, they know that I'm trying to help them. Even though it might take a little while, because, like, look, it's the busiest time of the year. Yes, ma'am, I'm so sorry. It's the 4th of July. I'm going to try to get, I like, just be really honest with them and be like, I'm trying my best to help you out. As long as they know that you're trying, like, people are usually not going to be ugly. And that's also why we rehab these things, that everything is literally brand new, so we don't have a lot of problems in the beginning, you know, because everything has been redone.
We'll talk about how easy it is to put on Airbnb and VRBO and just...
Well, VRBO sucks. I don't get many rentals on VRBO.
It's all Airbnb.
Some of my units I just have on Airbnb. Airbnb app is super easy, and it's just user friendly, so everybody uses that, and I prefer it. So yeah, I just like Airbnb better. I still have a few of them on VRBO, but that's a dying app in my opinion. And everything's on your phone. It's easy. And if there's a problem, I communicate. And I am also like always working, so like I don't ignore my cell phone. So if you're that kind of person where like you don't check your texts and stuff, like this is not for you.
Yeah.
Like you always have to be on your phone and ready. Like, does that bother me? No. Like, because I could be on my phone in the middle of the ocean. I don't give a shit. So if you're not that type of person, this probably won't work for you. But I am always on. And the only time I'm not is if I'm sleeping. Like, and I answer them first thing in the morning.
And just so you understand, there's a difference between Airbnb inside of a city and short-term vacation rentals, right? They're not going to shut down anything like this. Like, you're never going to have to worry about...
This area makes money because of tourists. That's different than being in the middle of like Lafayette or in our hometown and have an Airbnb.
Or New Orleans, Atlanta, where they shut down all the inner city Airbnbs.
We would never invest in New Orleans because it's Democrat run.
Right. But we don't invest with Democrats. But we also don't want to invest inside the city limits for an Airbnb, a short-term Airbnb inside of a city, because it can shut you down like you've been doing all over the country. You want to invest in places like this, tourist destination, places that are sought after the vacation. Listen, look, the beach is actually a little empty right now, but yesterday it was packed.
Worst case scenario,
people still vacation.
But even let's say they started shutting things down. We always invest with equity.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario, we just sell it.
Yeah, but they're not going to shut down a beach.
They're not. But Charleston,
the beach,
they did.
On the beach,
they're only limited. There's limited.
Yeah,
but there's not a lot of hotels.
No, that was in the city, Patty. That was not in the beach. That was in the city. I remember the conversation we had when we had
Charleston
the
is
Allies
a little bit
Mastermind.
But there's not a whole lot of hotels. Like Clearwater, their beach is full of hotels. So you have to stay at a Hilton or all those type of places. And this area is not like that. Like the hotels are like 4 blocks back on the main road. They're not on the beach side.
Yeah. Jason asks, would you have still bought with less equity capture if it cash flows well? Jason, if I'm just buying one and I'm using it for my my family, and maybe I'm gonna let friends and employees go use it, yes. Am I gonna build a whole portfolio and constantly buy properties with no equity? No. Maybe once.
But future equity. Like, so we bought the Destin house knowing that it was going to appreciate.
Yeah. Well, long term, I do think this area is going to appreciate more and more and more. It's not like Miami where it's overbuilt.
Especially if you're in the right location, like our house, like you can't replace that piece of property.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, look. If you can get it, when you underwrite it, it's simple, right? It's simple math. To take all your expenses, your debt coverage, what you know is going to be your insurance, property taxes, maintenance. So you ain't going to have a whole lot of maintenance if you rehab the whole thing. That's the cool thing about these units. You don't have maintenance hardly. A clogged toilet every once in a blue moon, but there's no maintenance if you rehab them. They don't get all beat up. And you look at the gross rents, the potential rents of what the property management company is going to tell you. You could probably add a little bit more if you're going to self-manage and you're probably going to do a better job than the property manager. But to answer your question, Jason, I would just do it once, but I would not build a portfolio with no equity. When cash flow fails, what saves you? Equity. You got to better get out of these things, right? You always want to buy with equity for the most part, If I know, look, there's 3 ways to make money in real estate. You can capture equity on the buy side through direct-to-seller marketing, which I recommend everybody doing on this live. That's what I do. That's how I built my network. That's how I built my portfolio. You capture equity through direct-to-seller marketing. 2, you can force equity through what? The value add, through construction, which I do a lot of that too, which we did with this one. We did with both. We captured equity, we created equity. Now there's a third way to make money in real estate. You can capture value, create value through construction, or you can time value. Now, time and value is a little bit more risky and more of an advanced strategy. You have to know migration patterns. Is the area saturated? Is the area still growing? Is it fully occupied? Is it maxed out? So you want to make sure that you're doing all three of those. You're capturing value, creating value, and timing value. All three. If you can do all three, you hit a home run, right? You knocked out the park. But it's a game of equity, right? You definitely want to have equity, Jason. So, but if it cash flows, dude, and look, you can't look at these things just from cash flow, though. That's what I want you guys to understand. You can't look at, if you want to make money from cash flow, dude, get cash flow from your business, from your W-2 job, your business, your wholesaling business, your flipping business. Right, I have a bunch of businesses that print cash. I don't depend on cash flow from rental property. I use rental property, which I call slow money. You guys follow me, that fast, medium, and slow money. Fast money's, W-2 business, wholesaling. Medium money is short-term stuff like 3 to 6 months, which is what flipping, small land development. What you see me doing with the land home packages. Slow money is what buy and hold. And buy and hold, like this unit, I didn't buy for cash flow. Did I underwrite it for cash flow? Absolutely. Do I want it to cash flow? Absolutely. But the biggest benefits from units like this is 1, appreciation, 2, depreciation, not paying taxes, 3, principal pay down, then 4, cash flow. In that order, in that sequential order, not the reverse, in that order. Appreciation, depreciation, principal pay down, then cash flow. So to answer your question, Jason, it doesn't have to. You don't have to capture equity as long as it cash flows. But don't build a whole portfolio with no equity. But you're buying these things for store value and depreciation. And if you guys that are W-2 employees that can't get classified as professional real estate investors, self-manage. Do the rehab, make it really nice. It's not hard to self-manage. Find you a cleaner, find you a repair guy, put it on Airbnb, and watch the thing book. The thing will book up like crazy if you're in the right area. Shit, my Rood ranch, my 70 acres on the lake, which that's her favorite spot. She loves the Rood ranch.
I get it. I can understand.
Does it not book like crazy?
Yes, it does.
And it's in the middle of nowhere.
But there's nothing else available.
Yeah.
So it's the only place. To stay.
You also got to look at the supply and demand uniqueness. It's got to be unique. It's got to be unique. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, but if you guys are going to get classified...
Somebody mentioned, they actually stay in this building, but they stay on the ground floor. We are huge ground floor people. We have bought a lot of ground floor units. One we regret selling, and I'm going to buy it back one day. But anyway, our other unit is the ground floor. As long as you have a view, because not all ground floor units have a view. This is second floor. But it's really hard to get your hands on a ground floor unit. They are more valuable. Keep that in mind.
Especially for older people that don't have to go up.
This complex has an elevator, so that helps.
Oh.
But if you're in a building with no elevator, you really want to be on the ground floor because you're probably not going to get a snowbird. It's going to be harder.
Talk about, because I know a lot of people worried about HOAs going up, insurance going up. Talk about all that.
So you want to study your HOA. You want to study how much funds they have. You want to study
when's the last assessment?
When was the last
When's
assessment?
The next one?
When is the next assessment coming? Look at the building. How does a roof look? How does the windows look? What is in the future for that building? How does the lobby look? Does the lobby need a lot of work? They also do in Florida, they also do these yearly assessments on the structure of these buildings. Ever since that building in Miami collapsed, they created this new thing where they do, I forget what it's called. But you want to know how did that study go? What are they telling you that you needed to do in the future? Now our other building, we're going to need some work on the roof, but they're giving us a 3-year breakdown on assessments. So that's great. So we have 3 years to put in money for a roof. 3 years is a lot of time. So also, I don't believe you should buy a bunch of units in the same building, because you want to spread it out, because there's a lot of times you'll find out when you're making offers that they're selling because they have like 2 or 3 units in the building, and they're about to be an assessment, so they're having to come up with all this money. You want to spread yourself out in different buildings so where your assessments don't all happen at the same time. That's very important. You want a HOA that's renter friendly. You don't want to have a lot of owners in the building that just live there, because they're not going to be pro renter. They're not going to want to push certain things like upgrades and stuff to the building that's going to produce more rentals. They want to just have owners here. So you want to do a lot of research on that. It's super important. A lot of buildings, if you notice, there's a lot of for sales happening in the same building. It's probably because they have an assessment coming. So pay attention to that. Call your agent. And like, I've had the same agent in both areas for like 7-8 years, Gulf Shores and Destin, and they know like what buildings are having problems. So ask them like, hey, what's going on in that building? Like, would you invest in that building? Like, what's the HOA like?
Yeah. And as far as the insurance, insurance definitely went up, but
yes,
the rents have went up also to cover that. The cost is always going to get pushed over to the consumer, right? So you just got to make sure you got all.
Condos are more manageable than the houses as far as insurance.
Yeah, the condos are not that expensive.
Our HOA takes care of the insurance within the exterior of the building, and we have to do it what's called an HO6 policy on the interior of the building. I want to answer some of these questions too, Patty. Like Caleb's, we met Caleb at Bratz's. Oh yes, I know Caleb.
He's in South Carolina. If it negative cash flows, you still a buyer. Caleb, I'm not a buyer. I'm personally not a buyer if it's negative cash flow.
Like how much negative cash flow though?
Well, like if you're gonna,
because that's a lie.
Well, no. When we first bought, I would have been a buyer. So Caleb, you got to ask yourself where you're at. If you got a pile of cash, and you just want and you need the depreciation,
yes,
like because if I know if here's the thing, Caleb, if I can buy it, and you know this, dude, you're an investor like me full time. If I'm gonna have a huge tax burden, and something doesn't check the box cash flow wise, like I might lose $5,000-$10,000 for the whole year, and I get to use it, but I can get a $200,000, $150,000-$200,000 cost seg on it and save $200,000. That's an asset by itself. So am I willing to lose $5-10 a year to save $200,000 or $150,000 in taxes? Yes. So you got to ask yourself where you're at tax savings wise, or do you have a huge tax burden? So there's a lot more to it than just that. Michael says, let's say I want to be Chris Rood, but all I want to do is acquire mobile homes. I don't want to separate my time between Airbnb, car washes, laundromats, unicycle schools. I believe in your model of mobile home parks. I'm just surprised someone as efficient as you just don't do mobile home park acquisition. Michael, I've got a huge team, man. I've got 5 girls in the office. I've got about 20 partners. I'm not in the day-to-day operations, and you got to realize, Michael, I've been buying short-term vacation rentals before I even invested in mobile home parks.
Yes.
I've been doing this for 13 years. So I understand this asset class. Plus my wife helps me full time, and we have a team, right? And I got a lot of partners that help out with operations. I can find the deals, I can raise the capital, I can underwrite them, but I'm not in day-to-day operations on these mobile home parks. Or even I'm more in the day-to-day operations on, the flipping and the acquisition of land to do the land home packages.
You handle all the loans.
I handle all the loans. I raise the capital. So you just got to know where your lane's at. Is it more of a boring thing?
I don't think it's boring. I love it. I love that people get to come to my places and have fun with their family. Like, that's not boring to me at all. So I don't know. I don't think it's boring.
Yeah. Michael says, how do you get classified as an REI investor? We have been Airbnb for 9 years. So I believe you have to have, and I could be wrong, I think it's 2,000 hours. It's roughly over 2,000 hours of full-time work as a real estate investor per year. So I believe, and look, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax strategist,
Ask your CPA.
actually CPA, but I know I put enough hours that I can be a full-time professional investor because this is all I do full-time. So yeah, actually, but I believe, and I could be wrong, I think it's like 22 or 2,300 hours per year. So if you're working 40 hours a week on average, 40 hours a week times 4.2, 40, 80, 120, 160 and a half, that's 180 hours a month. Do 180 times 12, Patty. What's 180 times 12? So if you 180 hours.
2160. So.
Oh, 21.
Yeah.
Okay, there's your number. It's 2160. I was right. If you work 40 hours a week in real estate, which I work way more than that, it's more like 80 hours a week, you can consider a full-time real estate investor. Jay Cassidy, one of my allies, partners, and past students, said that's why I sold mine.
I think he was talking about
the
Jetty East, and they were having a lobby
old,
redo.
But it was an
and
older,
a bunch of them was selling.
But that's a super old.
Okay, that brings up a good point. Jetty East is called a condotel. You don't want to buy that. You can't get proper loans for condotels. Basically, it's a condo hotel, so there's somebody at the bottom acting as like a hotel assistant, and you can book nightly rates. You don't want to buy in buildings like that. They don't hold value, and most people can't get proper loans for them. So never buy a condotel.
Yeah, and honestly, back to the property management side of self-managing. I mean, Patty's able to work with me full time, manage the kids, and still handle all the bookings because Airbnb it's all online.
Everything's on your phone. Like there's no excuse. Like I bring my phone everywhere. I personally bring my phone everywhere. So for me, it's not that big of a deal. It takes me seconds to answer a text, and I'm not gonna delay that. So if you delay text and answering text, this is not for you.
Yeah. Key is find an area that's not overbuilt, that's not inflated with so much inflation. You know, Caleb, like you're in South Carolina, in Charleston, where you're at, dude, the prices are insane. It's gotten ridiculous where you're at. And don't get me wrong, the prices gotten pretty ridiculous where we're at too. But you're probably in one of the hottest markets in all of the whole country where people are moving
when
to.
They're limiting permits.
Yeah, well, and there's only so much. I mean, everything's been built.
Like research your city. Like research your city and what they're promoting as far as like the future of their area.
But it doesn't have to be a beach. It could be a lake.
It could be a beautiful lake. Like we're looking at, what is that?
Is it in North Alabama? Smith Lake in North Alabama is a great area. We're gonna start. We want to buy a lake house next. So you just got to find areas that just aren't overbuilt. But I mean, just like there's 100 ways to make money in real estate. You could be a single family home investor. You could be a mobile home park investor. You can be an apartment guy. You can be a short-term vacation rental guy. The key is to what? Know your numbers. Buy right. It's all the same shit across the board. And that's why I was like, oh, well, how you do all these asset classes? Because I buy right. And I know my numbers. Right? And be as efficient as possible. Rehab it. Make them really nice. Right? And just understand that you play in the long game. And that you have many different exit strategies on these things. They're not just for cash flow, but for depreciation, appreciation, store value, principal pay down, and memories. That's why, look at this, that's why we've been coming to this place and we bring our kids. We got, a bunch of these places up and down here and some in Alabama too. But the memories that you create with your family, your kids, that's invaluable too. That's an asset by itself. That's cash flow of memories, right? You say, well, it's, I want cash flow. Well, dude, you need some good memories. How about cash flow and some great memories? These places will cash flow some great memories with your family. You can also let your employees go. We let our employees come sometimes.
We donate it to St. Jude every year.
Yeah,
all our units, and to a local
charity,
private schools. We do a lot of giveaways.
Yeah, and we let our employees go. Our family comes. I mean, there's a lot of verticals, right?
And I mean, would you rather give all that money to the government or put it in a real asset.
Yeah. So another
Tangible
thing
asset.
that, like Caleb said, would you buy something if it's
I
negative
just
cash flow?
answered him. Yeah.
If you make a ton of money, you just texted him.
Yeah, because you're gonna spend that on a vacation anyway.
Yeah, if you're gonna
spend that money on vacation anyway, and honestly, I'd rather do that than give it to the government.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a friend that just paid $450,000.
600.
It was 600.
600,000 to the
I
government.
mean, he could have bought one of these units and had a physical asset to show for it.
Yeah. Yeah, he sold his company and he had to pay 600,000 to the government, and he could have bought. I'd rather overpay for something,
Then lose that money.
and not cash flow and lose 10 grand a year.
Because I feel like that is losing.
Yeah, you
You're
write
losing. This is winning.
Yeah,
That's losing.
you
So
write
don't
a
wanna
check.
lose.
You write a check for 600,000 to the government because you sold your business. Dude, you ain't paying attention. I'd rather lose $10,000 a year
Yeah.
and buy a place on the beach or somewhere that's that doesn't cash flow, but but you can use it and get the tax write off, the depreciation, the appreciation, long term principal pay down, and I'll own it. Dude, you're burning money if you don't understand the tax code. If you're a W-2 guy and you don't understand the tax code, or even if you're just a newbie real estate investor, you're just a wholesaler and flipper, which a lot of you guys never get out of wholesale and flip. You don't progress into buying assets and don't understand the tax rules, the 1031 exchanges, cost segregation, depreciation. Now they brought back the 100% bonus depreciation. Dude, you got to understand all that. If you don't understand all that, that's an asset class. Understanding how to not pay taxes is an asset class by itself. So yes, would I buy something that negative cash flows? If I don't have to do that now, but in the beginning, selling some of my companies, when I sold my company, case in point, when I sold out to Express Oil, and they bought some of my locations. I always wanted a place on the beach. We actually paid full retail for our place across the street, our big house in Destin here in 2017. I 1031 exchanged it when I sold my business. I paid zero taxes, and I 1031 exchanged it into that house. At the time, I paid full retail, and I think we had underwrote it. We knew we were going to actually probably lose about 5-10 grand a year on the rentals. Actually, maybe more than that. But that was my first. Well, that wasn't my first one. That was our second one we bought. But I was willing to lose it just to have vacations, cash flow of memories. That's right, Justin. Cash flow of memories. Destin House.
Yeah, but it appreciated.
Now it's worth 2.3, 2.5 million.
Appreciation.
It's doubled in value.
You're gonna get it back.
Eventually, over time.
There's no loss in that. You're gonna get it back. Well, maybe not. We don't ever want to sell it.
No, I don't think.
This is the hardest part of the game.
They're so nice.
We don't ever want to sell it. We get so attached. That is probably the hardest part of this game, is because we get so attached. We loved it. We have memories attached to them, so that's probably the hardest part. But that unit, yeah, maybe we lose that every year, but we have gained it in appreciation. We're like what, $1 million in appreciation on that one house.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, Adam. He lost $600,000 because he don't understand the tax code. I mean, it's just crazy. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. If you got to dump some money into something that doesn't cash flow and you lose 10 grand a year, dude, you're going to spend 10 grand just in vacation, maybe 20. Some people spend $20,000, $40,000 a year in vacations. If you lose that, but you gained an asset that you can do a cost segregation and accelerate the depreciation and not pay taxes, dude, all day, every day, sign me up. I'm not trying to live off my cash flow or real estate. I have a bunch of businesses. I want, once again, to repeat myself, I underwrite them the cash flow, and I hope they cash flow, and I want them to cash flow. But I do not live off the positive cash flow of my real estate. I live off my businesses, my fast and media money. Eventually, once it's paid down and I pay these things off, 15 years, 10 years, 20 years, I'm retiring. Yeah, this is retirement. It's like my 401k. I'm not trying to take the money out. Whatever positive cash flow we get, we put them right back into the property.
We
always hardening the property and upgrading the property.
Yes.
And Sean said appreciation is more important than cash flow. I would agree, dude. If you look at anybody's portfolio, people argue with me about this shit all the time. Other influencers and coach that are selling, which is fine. They're selling they're making money off their coach, and I get it. I do the same thing, but if you look at everybody's portfolio, the biggest savings of anybody's real estate portfolio is one of two things. They make the most money when they sell, and they make the most money from not paying taxes. It's not from the positive cash flow of the real estate. So if you're buying real estate because you want it to cash flow and quit your job and live off your passive income, dude, stick to your day job. Live off your fast and medium money. Start a business. This is why I tell people that you need to have a business. You have a business, you make your money in business, you hold it in real estate, right? But you want it to try to cash flow. Yes, absolutely. And the way you're going to make it cash flow is buying right, making it the nicest unit, self-management. Those three things. Mom, any final thoughts?
Well, don't be scared to self-manage. Like, at first I was nervous about it, but I'm like, it's really simple. I mean, all it is a communication line. You got a communication line with the cleaner, you got a communication line with the service tech, and you got a communication line with the renter. As long as you're good at communicating in those three lines and you're not lazy about having your phone on you all the time, it's easy. It really is. And like we said, we invest in hardening the property up front, so where we don't really have much maintenance issues. So you're not going to really... Most people communicate with me to tell me how awesome my unit is and they're having a good time. And that's it.
Yeah. If you need my finance guy, inbox me. Also, this unit we bought right here, we were able to do loan to value. Build relationships with these small community banks. We got this thing financed through a small community bank, and we only put $10,000 down when we bought this unit. We paid $525. I put $10,000 down at the closing.
And now, we paid for the rehab.
And I paid for the rehab out of pocket. So you will, if you build enough relationships, you have a track record of knowing how to buy right, you're a professional real estate investor, you can get these loan to value loans from small community banks that you've built relationships with. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. But anyway, I hope that helped. There's more nuances to that than I think we went over pretty much everything. Buy right, or get a little discount if you can. If you can't and you love it and you don't care if you lose $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a year, and you're going to be using it as a tax shelter, a place to store your value against the money printing machine in Washington, and you want it as just a tax shelter, dude, you're going to spend $10,000, $20,000 in vacations anyway. Mm-hmm. Buy it. It's no big deal. Just don't do that, and build a whole massive portfolio and every one of them are negative cash flow every year. Maybe do that on the first one, but do some due diligence on the rest of them. Get them the cash flow, make a bunch of offers, get you some 30-year fixed debt, make it the nicest unit, self-manage. You do all those things, you're golden. So I hope that helps. Hope you have a fantastic Sunday. We'll be finishing up here. Let me just show you this unit. We'll be finished. It's pretty.
Not that done yet.
Yeah, it's not done. It's pretty. Still a construction site, right? Just put up the TV. You got the ceiling. We put some shiplap. We got the granite coming in tomorrow. Backsplash. Tuesday. We put brand new floors, paint. So here's your view. This unit should do around, I would say, $85,000 to $100,000 a year. It should do the exact same amount as the other one we just bought. So, anyway, we talk about this all the time at the Allies Mastermind. We do every 3 months. If you guys want to learn more about real estate investing, maybe you're just an entrepreneur. Maybe you're just somebody who likes to make money, build wealth, and you want to be a part of a community of like-minded people. I call allies, no friends, only allies. Of people that are abundance-minded. They speak in terms of value. They want to help people. They want to be helped. And they want to just build something for their family, and they want to have something that they can be proud of and not be judged for trying to build wealth and make money. Because if you're not an entrepreneur, dude, and you're hanging around people that are not entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur and you hang around people that are not entrepreneur and you talk about money, building wealth, trying to do better for yourself, dude, it's not going to work out good for you. You need to be a part of a community. You need to be a part of a group of like-minded individuals that you can lean on, because we all struggle with the same thing. Dude, building wealth and trying to be your best self is a lonely journey.
You better hope that you don't need people to like you. I don't give a shit if people don't like me.
Yeah,
I like me. I like him.
We
That's all
we
that
don't
matters.
care if you like us or not.
Yeah.
If I cared if you like me or not, I wouldn't be doing this
Yeah,
live.
exactly. We
don't care. We're just trying to attract people.
Yeah, and we're just
that-
trying to be our best selves.
Yeah,
That's all.
and try to give back and help and make money at the same time and help other people make money. You know, shit, I don't want to be old and wrinkly and old and, you know, sitting on that beach back there, you know, old and wrinkly by myself, right? I want to hang out with some allies. I want to hang out with people that we built together, help each other make money and
We're
partnerships.
actually doing another allies in Gulf Shores.
Gulf
on the
Shores,
beach.
Alabama. That's right.
I
We
think
have-
it's going to be the first week in September. I'm like working on that right now, but
Yeah.
that's the plan.
Yep. And we're going to talk about a lot of different things. I mean, and I don't just do this, right? We do a lot of different things. We do a ton of.
You have to be dynamic.
Yeah, you can't just do one thing.
Yeah.
You can't just do one thing. You know, there's always old saying, a jack of all trades, master of none. You know, I get that all the time. How do you have your hands in so much stuff? I'm like, but dude, how you walk and chew bubble gum? I mean, it's simple.
We don't know what to do if we're not doing 5 things at once.
Yeah, like I've always had 20 things going at one time and kept it together.
Control chaos.
Right. But I mean, I got a big team. I've got a lot of good partners. We've got a lot of systems and processes built out. And we have a lot of, you know, we focus on our fast, medium, and slow money. That way we have money today, we have money tomorrow coming in, and we have investments that are going to pay us later when we're older. And we just work those 3 buckets. And that's what I teach. And that's what we talk about the Allies Mastermind. Mastering the basic fundamentals, how to buy right, how to underwrite, how to raise capital, how to build a brand, and how to partner with the right people. If you do that and you master those 4 things, dude, you can get into any asset class. So, anyway.
Follow me on Instagram. I usually post all of my updates on Airbnbs. Like, that's where I really focus on posting the Airbnb stuff on there. So,
Yeah.
my Instagram is Living the Real Estate Life.
On Instagram and on Facebook. I tagged you on here on
Yeah.
Facebook. But you can, you know, and there's other asset classes. And then one more thing I like about Airbnb. Dude, they cash flow really well. Compared to long-term rentals, they cash flow way better than long-term rentals. Long-term rentals are tough to make cash flow. Short-term, a lot smoother, a lot easier. The tenants are better. You know, your customers are way better, and you just get more money, more bang for the buck, right? So, I'm bullish on short-term vacation rentals going into the future in good areas. I'm bullish on the land home package. You'll see me doing. I've got 20, 21, 22 of those deals going right now. If you need, by the way, if you need a trailer, inbox me in the South. I've got my dealership license. I can sell you mobile homes at wholesale prices. Outside of that, don't wait to buy, folks. Don't wait to buy. I get mad at myself. I wish I'd have bought and known about how to do real estate when I was in my 20s. But the best time to buy is today. You know, the best time, or how they said that, no, the best time to buy was yesterday, but the next best time to buy is today. And tomorrow, you're going to regret that you didn't buy yesterday. So, see you guys in the next live.